23.24 miles per hour. That's faster than Usain Bolt's average speed in his record-breaking 100-meter dash. But this isn't the Olympics. This is the NFL, and that's the speed Tyreek Hill hit during an actual football game. They don't call him Cheetah for nothing. Today we're telling the story of a kid from a tiny Georgia town who became the most explosive player in NFL history. From nights without electricity to breaking NFL records, from community college detours to Super Bowl glory. This is the incredible journey of Tyreek Hill. Our story begins in the quiet town of Pearson, Georgia, where dreams often stay dreams and greatness usually goes unnoticed. Picture this, two teenage parents, barely old enough to drive, let alone raise a kid. That's where our story could have taken a very different turn. But sometimes heroes don't wear capes, and sometimes they're grandparents who refuse to let that talent go to waste. Herman and Virginia Hill stepped up to raise young Tyreek, despite their own struggles with the law. And let me tell you something, folks, their unwavering faith in their grandson would ultimately change not just his life, but the entire landscape of professional football. Now here's where things get interesting. At just 3 years old, yeah, you heard that right, little Tyreek was already showing signs of something extraordinary. His grandmother couldn't even keep up with him during a simple game of catch. Most toddlers are still trying to master walking without falling. But Tyreek? He was already leaving adults in the dust. His grandfather Herman saw the raw talent and didn't waste a single moment. By age 5, he had Tyreek in youth football, personally coaching him, and get this, every single kid in town was begging to be on Herman's team, just for the chance to play alongside young Tyreek. That's not just talent, folks. That's the kind of natural ability that comes along once in a generation. After transferring to Coffee High School, Tyreek didn't just play football, he also became a legend on the track. We're talking state championships in the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, and long jump. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. His 200-meter time of 20.4 seconds missed the high school record by just 1/100th of a second, a record that had stood for over 25 years. He wasn't just competing at junior nationals, he was putting up times that had Olympic scouts reaching for their phones. This wasn't just high school athletics anymore. This was the emergence of something special. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? Behind all those trophies and medals, behind the headlines and the whispers of Olympic potential, Tyreek was fighting battles that would break most people. Some nights the lights weren't even on at home. He'd stay up late, being the shoulder for his grandmother to cry on, watching her struggle with bills and basics that most of us take for granted. His grades, they took a serious hit. And here's the cruel irony. Colleges were practically breaking down his door for his athletic talents, but his academic struggles meant he couldn't accept any of their offers. Every major program in the country wanted him, but the NCAA's academic requirements stood like an immovable wall between Tyreek and his dreams. Talk about a gut punch. That's when Garden City Community College in Kansas entered the picture. And folks, this is where Tyreek's story takes a turn that would make Hollywood scriptwriters jealous. He didn't just play football there, he became a human highlight reel. Running back? Check. Wide receiver? You bet. Kick returner? Absolutely. And quarterback? Why not? There was a way to get the ball in his hands. The coaching staff found it. They designed their entire offense around one simple principle: get the ball to the fastest man on the field and watch magic happen. But more importantly, while he was lighting up the field, he was grinding in the classroom, bringing his GPA up to D1 standards. This wasn't just about football anymore. This was about redemption. Then came Oklahoma State, and it looked like Tyreek was finally on the fast track to stardom. He was breaking records left and right, winning awards and living the D1 dream that had seemed impossible just a year before. The Cowboys had never seen anything like him, a player who could score from anywhere on the field, at any time in any way. But in December 2014, it all came crashing down. Dismissed from both the football and track teams following legal issues. Every D1 school in the country slammed their doors shut. The sports world had written him off, and it looked like game over for one of football's most promising talents. Many players would have given up right there, but Tyreek Hill isn't most players. Enter Brett Gillen, head coach at West Alabama, with what would become one of the most important phone calls in NFL history. "Reek, you ready to play some football?" Obtained. Now here comes the part of the story that still gives me goosebumps. The 2016 NFL Draft, the experts, and I mean all of them, said Tyreek would go undrafted. He didn't even get a combine invite, but after blazing a 4.29 40-yard dash at his pro day, one team saw something special. With the 165th pick, the Kansas City Chiefs selected Tyreek Hill, and the NFL would never be the same. This wasn't just another draft. This was the beginning of a revolution in how teams would think about speed in football. Under Andy Reid's masterful guidance, Tyreek didn't just prove the doubters wrong. He made them look foolish. In his very first season, he was breaking NFL speed records, hitting an astounding 23.24 miles per hour. The Cheetah nickname, it wasn't just clever marketing. It was a scientific fact. He wasn't just fast. He was doing things that NFL tracking systems weren't designed to measure. But when Patrick Mahomes took over as quarterback, my goodness, folks, that's when things went from spectacular to absolutely otherworldly. These two were like peanut butter and jelly, like Jordan and Pippen, like thunder and lightning. Tyreek's supernatural speed combined with Mahomes' rocket arm created a duo that defensive coordinators still have nightmares about. We're talking 87 catches, 1,479 yards, and 12 touchdowns in 2018 alone. The NFL had never seen anything quite like it. A receiver who could take a 5-yard slant to the house or burn you 60 yards downfield with equal ease. The pinnacle of their partnership, Super Bowl 54 against the 49ers, down 20-10 in the fourth quarter, facing 3rd and 15 with the championship hanging by a thread. Who did Mahomes trust? The Cheetah. That 44-yard catch didn't just move the chains, it sparked one of the greatest comebacks in Super Bowl history and cemented Hill's place in NFL lore. In that moment on the biggest stage in sports, Tyreek Hill showed the world that speed kills, but speed with heart, that's unstoppable. But this story isn't finished yet. In 2022, in a move that sent shockwaves through the NFL, Tyreek took his talents to South Beach, signing a mind-boggling $120 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. If anyone thought he might slow down in the Florida heat, think again. Paired with Tua Tagovailoa and fellow speedster Jalen Waddle, Tyreek nearly did the impossible in 2023, coming tantalizingly close to becoming the first NFL receiver to hit 2,000 yards in a season, finishing with an astronomical 1,799 yards and 13 touchdowns. He didn't just adapt to a new system, he transformed it. From the small streets of Pearson, Georgia to the bright lights of the NFL, Tyreek Hill's journey is more than just a sports story. It's a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of second chances, and the pure electrifying talent that comes along once in a generation. He didn't just break the mold of what a speed receiver could be. He created an entirely new blueprint for the position. Every kid who's been told they're too small, too fast, too anything, Tyreek Hill showed them that there's no such thing as too much speed, and you've got the heart to match it. That kid who once couldn't keep the lights on at home, he's now lighting up NFL stadiums across the country. The community college player that nobody wanted, he's now the highest paid receiver in NFL history. That's the magic of sports, folks. The ability to defy odds, overcome adversity, and reach heights that nobody thought possible. As we wrap up this incredible story, one thing's absolutely certain. Whenever Tyreek Hill steps onto the field, you better keep your eyes glued to the screen, because at any moment, the Cheetah might just do something that redefines what we thought was humanly possible. In a league full of superheroes, he's truly one of a kind. This has been the story of Tyreek Hill, from community college to becoming the NFL's fastest man. If you enjoyed this incredible journey, smash that like button, hit the subscribe for more amazing sports stories, and let us know in the comments which player's journey you want to hear next. Until next time, sports fans, keep chasing those dreams, because just like Tyreek proved, you never know when your moment to shine might come.